Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikas Rajiv. Guys, welcome to the show. If you're watching us from YouTube, yes, do comment, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're first time here, yes, hit that bell notification. And yes, what an awesome topic or an awesome guest we have today. Uh, Before I introduce my guest, I would like to mention a few things because Facebook, we know all the social media, how they censor us in every way, so that's why I always mention the importance of spreading the truth and helping each other and other to get the message across, right? And I wanted to give that example uh, with our guest today. She has an awesome amazing clip, a truth message that she shared a few months ago, and it did resonated with a lot of people and even to me. So we got in contact and I shared that clip on my page. It's not even my main page, it's supposed to be my secondary page. And the truth, the people loved it so much. In the first 3 days, that clip got 30,000 views in 3 days. And then now, right now, it's 52,000 views. So you have 50,000 plus more people received your message. That's a present for our guest. And yeah, and that's how we help each other to get more far. So I always ask people, do spread the word. If you resonate, share, like, comment, do everything, because that really helps, and especially how the algorithm tries to control us. So just before I introduce you all to her, I want to say hello to my co-host Gene. Brother, how are you doing?
Hey Vika, doing great, brother. Thanks for the show, guys. A little early today, but we try to accommodate everybody, and we have a great topic and a great guest. Very happy to be here today with everybody. We got a great chat going on too. What's up, everybody? How you doing? So, guys, right? Why the lie? Um, it starts out when we're little kids with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and all that. I think it's just conditioning to get us used to how much they lie to
Yes.
us, right? And they tell us we could be an astronaut and the president. No, no, you can't. But they don't tell us that actually we are Santa, right? So mom and dad and the whole family are Santa. And one day you're going to be Santa too. Oh, but the only catch is you got to go through school, get a job, pay for all this stuff. So it's a big conundrum they got us in. And let me ask you something. I'll start off with what truths have they told that are so great that makes you think they wouldn't be lying about everything else that we're trying to present, guys? And we leave no stone unturned. We cover it all. Doesn't mean I stake all the claim into this being that or whatever. We're speculating and having a great time doing it. They offer a lot of very curious subjects for us to scour over in this life. And I could tell you what, one thing, why to lie? Because the potential we have that they hide on us, the creator, they got us in outer space, flying around, going nowhere. We used to be monkeys millions of years ago, and so there's a lot of reasons to keep us locked in a cage to go keep running a rat race for these people while they go hang out in the lands that don't exist, that they say that don't exist, right? So yeah, guys, great show coming up, everybody, and super happy to be here with you. Thanks for being here, guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. They have liked in every aspect, right? Of wherever you look, we have been having deception like in everywhere, right?
Wow.
Absolutely, brother. And yes, our special guest for today, Laura Nina. Laura, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi. Thank you for inviting me on. And I can't believe the viewing of that little clip. It was actually very surprising how wide it spread, and I had no idea it was going to be like that. And so, yeah, it's really nice that people can relate to it and comprehend it like I did. And that's what it's all about, is just trying to share, as much as we can to empower people to at least just think for themselves, and and to connect with your senses rather than work against your senses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So before we continue, I just want to give a shout out to Matthew, brother. Thank you, brother. You're awesome all the time. That's amazing. That really helps. And yeah, so Laura, when did your journey start? Like how long and how you realized the flat earth or the truth?
Yeah, that was quite a shock, I have to say. It started when the lockdown started. So in 2020, around April, when I began questioning the narrative, because I realised I had this, gut feeling that what we were being told wasn't matching what I was seeing, and it wasn't completely honest. So I started questioning things, and that's when you're locked in your home and you can't go out and you've got all the time in the world, you want to know why you're locked in your home and your life has been taken away from you. So I needed answers. I needed to know really what I was seeing wasn't matching what was happening. So thankfully, we have something called the World Wide Web, which I say thankfully because it's worked in our favour. And if it wasn't for social media and people on social media, I would never have known the things I know now, or got onto the right track of finding the truth out. So that got me questioning why we were locked down, and obviously one thing led to another, and you fall down different rabbit holes, as they call it. And one of those was the mention of flat Earth. Someone in a live that I was listening to said, and I suppose you people think that we live on a spinning globe. And I was just like, what did he just say? No way, no way.
That's
How
great.
can he say that, And he's like, yeah, you think we're on a spinning globe? And I was like, no, this is crazy. This is absolutely, I was battling with myself because I just thought, how crazy is this? You can't say that. Of course we live on a spinning globe. And even a friend of mine said to me, because I was questioning her, he said, oh, what, are you a flat earther now? I was like, don't be silly. Everyone knows the world is round. Without question, without thought, I just said that. And then a few weeks went by and I watched the same guy again, and he's like, spinning flat earth, spin. I was like, no, something's not right here. Why is he saying this? And so because I was going through a time where I needed to question things, so I decided I need to look into this subject, because if I don't look into this, I'm never going to know the truth. So I secretly joined some flat earth sites. And then I realized that there was a lot of trolling on those sites. Huge. And it's so hard to get to the truth. And, you can post a comment saying, look, guys, I'm new to this. I'd like to find out more. And that's it. It's just spamming and trolling and everything. It can put you off. But I'm quite persistent, and I carried on, and I met a few people on there that helped me on my journey, and they sent me so many links and so much information that it blew my mind. And that was it. I was converted, and that's been my journey since. But it's that transition, it's that first step of going against something which, as soon as you call someone a flat earther, that's like the biggest insult you could give to someone. And it's going against that insult. It's going against that humiliation, because that's what you feel like when you're being called a flat earther. When if someone calls you that, they're calling you stupid. It's learning to go against that humiliation and say, no, until I see for myself and learn for myself, I'm never going to know the truth. When you fall down that route, you learn that there were questions that you needed answers to, that you didn't even know you wanted to ask in the first place. And that's what the amazing thing about going over the other side and seeing things from the other side is, it teaches you that you didn't even know you wanted to learn this until you started on that journey, because you didn't have those questions until you started seeing things from the other side. And so that's what put me on the and I became obsessed with it. I loved it because it was the reality that for me, it was one of the biggest lies that I could think of. That's, you know, that's a lie before most other lies. And there was many reasons as to why the lie. You know, I was thinking, why did they, like everybody, why would they lie? Why would they do this? You're an innocent, like realizing that your whole existence has been a lie from the very beginning. You know, why would they do that? You know, you trust people. I mean, good people just trust people to tell them the truth. If you're a good soul, you don't automatically think that other people are going to be bad and they're going to lie, and you just want to believe that everybody's like you. That's being naive and innocent. So that's why the lie was one of the biggest things. Why would they do that? And so that was in 2020. And at the end of it was at the end of 2020, I think it was, I kind of had this, I don't know, like a light bulb moment of why the lie. And I realized that there was another connection other than people saying, obviously, they want to take you away from the creator. I'm not religious, so I didn't fall onto flat earth through the Bible or through God. So I haven't got that connection like some people do, but it did bring me back to realizing that there is a creator. Well, whoever that creator is for you, I believe we were all created. We didn't come from a big bang. So your existence all of a sudden becomes more significant because you have a meaning. You're not just a measly ant in this, you know, great big never-ending universe. You do mean something. Your existence was by creation. So then it leads you on to more questions and more questions, and the why the lie was always the most important for me. And then at the end of 2021, sorry, carry on.
No, I just wanted to, this is the thing, no, when they locked everyone else down, you know, like there was so much time given to everybody to just be and watch whatever they want, and there was so much time, but it didn't help them because people were like, I think the majority just could see through the lies, and for sure they had to come up, like, you know, flat earth and many other conspiracies. What else they are lying? So in the end, I think it helped all of us to, right, in coming to the truth. And even if they want or no, it's coming. People are sharing, more people are sharing. So the same way they feed us, we are getting it, and the people are receiving flat earth, even if they like it or not, right? That's the best part. And my other question to you would be like, what out of all the flat earth evidences that was there, which really like resonated with you, right? Or which was like you were having doubt and then you say, nah, there's nothing more than this I need, right? For example.
I realized the sun and the moon weren't as far away as they said. It was local. I realized we weren't spinning because I could feel that we weren't spinning. I could see we weren't spinning. And it made sense that my senses were telling me to trust my senses. And it made sense to go with what you can feel, what you can hear, what you can see. So, for instance, during lockdown, there were people wearing masks. And for something that you couldn't see, they stopped you breathing, you know, fresh air and covering your face for something you couldn't see. something that was never proven, but yet people still done it. So they went against their own logic, their own senses, and for something that had a very high success rate of living, of curing. So that made me realize that a lot of the time we've been taught to go against our very own senses, which is one of the most important things we can connect with. It's our instinct. It's our God-given human instinct. That's what we need to rely on to get us through things, to make better judgment, better choices. And we're going against it. So I decided, that's it. I'm going with my senses. I realized that there is no curvature. And that was another thing that made me think there's no curvature. It doesn't exist. So I started to look at different, every day I was looking at pictures. I was looking at where I live, and I was thinking I shouldn't be able to see that distance, from a hill. So it was there in my face. There were so many things happening that I could see and feel for myself, which went against NASA's teaching or science. If it's, I don't know whether you can connect science with NASA, because clearly they're both in the same financial industry, but they're both lying. So that's what got me realizing, it's definitely level and non-rotating, because I could see it and I could feel it.
Awesome. Yeah, this is the thing that they succeed, the indoctrination succeed, that the people don't even trust their own senses and believe the rest of whatever they are feeding to all, right? And this is the most important thing, the observable reality is that we cannot deny. They're telling everything opposite of what we observe, what we perceive, right? So they're gonna take advantage of these indoctrinated people in every aspect, of keeping them always blind in with their fake formulas and theories, and their fake theories, right? And we don't need to prove flat earth to nobody. You can prove your flat earth to yourself every day by doing and living and seeing things, how things happen, right? You don't need to be scientists to prove to ourselves or to see what we perceive and what is observable reality and what they're trying to sell us, right? So they always do that. And I also wanted to ask you, like, how much time you took for that clip that you made, because it looks like there's so much of time and thoughts and emotions were put into it, right? And you can just make things up like that, because it really resonated with many people. I saw it on Jaren's channel first time, then I saw you on David Weiss channel, and then I saw you also on Truth Seekers Money's channel, right? So I say, oh, it's the same person. That's why I thought, it would be great. So can you expand something on that?
Well, that knowledge kind of came to me over a period of many, many months of learning different things that weren't necessarily at the time connected to flat Earth, if you like. And like I said, it was a journey of going down. Obviously, everything is for profit. Take away the flat Earth stuff. What I was learning, about law, lawful, legal, and then I fell onto the fact that there's a straw man, and they've made your straw man a business, and then so things go through my mind. There was pieces of a puzzle, you see, that was starting to come together for me, because I always tell people, look, everybody wants 100% concrete proof as to where you're going to find the answers that you're seeking. The truth is, you're not. You have to find your own answers. And it is like having a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you empty the box and you've got to try and put the pieces together yourself. And it's all about, looking at different things, listening to different things, researching its knowledge, and then eventually the knowledge starts coming together. And that's what was happening for me. And then I realized that they can't, they need to make money. and they need you to believe in your fictional character, which is the straw man, the person incorporated. And this is what they've been using every day of our lives to make money on us. They can't tax the real man or woman. They can only tax their fake name, their legal name. And through that legal name, they can monetize so much. They can trade you on the stock markets. They can, they can add attachments of earnings. They can fine you if you're driving 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. They can do more or less whatever they like to that legal fiction, because that legal fiction doesn't exist. You do, the man and woman, and no one can impose their will on you. No one can come up to you and force you to do something against your will. But if I can make you believe that there's a fictional character here that is you, and I can impose anything in that fictional character because he or she doesn't actually exist. But if you believe she exists or he exists, then I can do anything. And this is what they've done. And that then, in my mind, tied in to the globe. They created, because just like, you can't own something that is not, that is natural. You can't own something that's organic. No one can patent nature, but you can create something off of it, and you can make people believe whatever you want if it's for the benefit of control and profit. And that's exactly what they've done with the globe. That's what they've been doing with everything. And when you look at the world agenda right now, everything is a globalist, global warming. That word is so powerful in their world, because it's all fiction. It doesn't exist. It only exists by your consent. Your ignorance creates the straw man. The straw man creates the prophet. And then through that, they control you. And that's, to me, made perfect sense why they would create a globe, why they would create a fake world, because they cannot touch, if you want to, we'll call it God's creation. For simplicity, they cannot touch God's creation. But they can transport your mind away from reality and put you onto a globe where nothing is real apart from you believing it's real. And the more you go against your own reality, your own senses, the more they can play with your mind and get you to, they hypnotized you. You're a puppet in their world. And that's what you are. You're like a little Pinocchio puppet, on strings. And the more you believe you live in that globe, the more you will do whatever they say, because you don't know who you are. You don't know where you live. You haven't got the senses to your own reality. And that's how easy it is to control people's minds.
Absolutely. We had last year, I think so, we had an interesting guest called Robert Fernham, I think so, right, Gene? And he was like totally into this, like serious stuff, right? How you can literally detach yourself from this corporational crap that they have put us into, like legally. Like, you have forms, and you have a whole book. I forgot the name of the book, but goes really in detail.
I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'll figure it out before the end of the show. But yeah, Ron Farnham has got a book about it. He's a good guy. He deflected out of Hollywood, kind of.
Excellent. I mean, everything is fake. Look at Hollywood.
That's a great mechanism for the mind control system.
Yeah, celebrities, they're not real. Even a celebrity, their name's not, it's all to do with playing a role, playing a character on a fiction story. And you have the globe, don't you? That it's all there. In the fictional world, there's this fictional globe where fictional characters will hypnotize you and make you believe that you need things you don't. They want to sell you things you don't, you think you need, but you don't. But you need money. This is, the creation of, some people call it the devil's creation. It's the devil's world. But you see, he can't touch And I like I said, I use this as a metaphor, but the devil cannot touch God's creation, but he can manipulate it and make you come over to his side and take you
Right.
away from what's real.
They can't destroy it. They can make it uninhabitable for us, so we have to move and can't live there anymore. We have to live over here where they didn't make it so crummy and
Well,
poisoned.
absolutely. But the reason they've done this is because they've got away for so long. The lie has been living for so long that
Yeah.
people have forgot who they really are. And that's why they've grown. They've grown like a huge, cancer spreading, and they've grown so big. But now it's time for us to, and we are waking up. It's time for us to wake up and say, actually, no, we're not having any more of your lies and your fiction and your fake money and your control and whatever. No, the people are now speaking. And we know that we don't live in your world. We live in the real world. And here, you can't tell us what to do. We have free will. We know that global agenda and globalists and global warming and it's all a fiction. They want you to believe. I've got what's his name, Harari. Do you know the guy Harari? That's with very close to Klaus Schwab. I can't remember his surname. I came across his book, Homo Sapiens, and I bought it. I'm going to read it, but just the first page is full of absolute brainwashing science. And one of those is 6 million years ago, that it was only 6 million years ago, he says, that we had the last common grandmother of humans and chimpanzees. So the last living grandmother connected to both humans and chimpanzees lived 6 million years ago. I'm like,
Yeah, they call
and
that
people
the
actually believe
LCA,
this.
the last common ancestor.
And 6 million years ago, I'm meant to believe this, but that's how people have been conditioned. They genuinely believe that science tells them the truth, but they forget who controls the science.
But we're all taught from young ages that these are the people we need to pay attention to. We need to be able to understand what they're telling us and copy from them, and that the degrees and diplomas are very important for you to excel in this world. And we don't, a lot of us kind of follow that. It's what we're taught. But
Yep.
there's just become so much of it, I guess, thankfully, that there's a change going on around here. And I hope it's not just, like we were saying before about, the floodgates opening up during the time we were all home. I look at a lot of this stuff, like everybody cheering on NASA. It seems like a big litmus test, because if they got 1 million people and 600,000 are cheering on NASA, they know that 400,000 are only against it, kind of. You know what I mean? They're weighing this stuff out, and so I hope it's not that they're just weeding us out, because we're becoming very vocal, and the crowd is growing and growing.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And they're getting so desperate that now they're making documentaries to try and discredit the truth all over the place, or even on the radio. I'm hearing it not just obviously with the flat earth, but with everything. They are so desperate because the people don't realize, and this is another reason why, they don't want us to know where we truly live, because if you know where you live, you start to question your true power, your true reason for being here, because until then you're taught, well, you're born, you live, you die, and what you have to do is make the best of the one life you get, and that's it.
Right.
And the pressure on that, and then you're conditioned, like you say, you've got to go to school, you've got to go to college, uni. I don't know what it's like where you are, obviously different steps. You've got to get this job, got to make your family proud. All you're doing is being conditioned to be part of a corporate system, a dead system, a corpse. And
Yeah.
you're giving your sweat labor, your energy to this dead system to to make a bit of money for the rest of your life, and all you're doing is keeping that system going while killing yourself and achieving not a lot in life, really, because you end up near your deathbed thinking, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time to do this. I wish I had more time. And the system is set up like this because when you do have time, you are able to become creative. I always
Exactly.
tell people you need to be bored. My son, he had a PlayStation last year which developed wings and it flew out the window. And it was very painful experience for him. And as a as a mother myself, I thought, my God, what did I just do? And for maybe 3 months, he absolutely hated me. But then he got bored. He was so bored, and he was like, "I'm going out of my mind, bored." I said, "Good, good. You need to be bored because it is in your most boredom state that you will start becoming creative." And
Absolutely.
so that's why we are kept busy, because we are not allowed to be bored, because people are not allowed to be bored, because they're not allowed to become creative. Because let's face it, what do people say to you? The best thing to do is sit and meditate. When you meditate, it doesn't matter whether you can do it properly or not, but you're just there thinking. You start thinking, you start becoming creative. You have time for your mind. You have time to clean your mind, if you like. Whereas when you're at work, all you're doing is putting things in there all the time. You don't have
Exactly,
time
as
to
you
think.
say, like it's all interrelated, as you say, like from the child there, like with the education, work, get job, get house, get a car, work, be stressed out all the day, all your life till you are 60, 70,
Yeah.
pay your mortgages if you're lucky, and you reach, if you're lucky, you reach 70, and then maybe you could travel somewhere, but you don't have energy to enjoy, right? So they make sure that you are so stressed out in your life that you cannot even, as you say, that they nobody's going to have time even to think, hey, what's the problem, what are these people doing, how can we solve this, so trying to see how you can, like, getting out of the system also is, it's quite difficult, you cannot really get out of the system. What we could do is always go around the system, because the same people who makes the laws, they know from where to take these laws, there's always loopholes you could do things around, so that's one way to be there, and on the fence there between the society or no, and that could be a way to get independence, right? And do something and uh, gain your time, because you could be having the best skills, but if you're working for somebody else, and it's always going to be exploited, it's, or you have a fix, and if somebody who have a fixed job, they cannot speak crap on the internet because they know their job could be taken, and if the job is taken, they cannot pay the mortgage, and if they don't pay the mortgage, they're in the street, is no food, so they actually, like, have everyone by, like, really uh, in their grip.
Short hairs.
And exactly, and apart from that, all their fear tactics, right? It's so much
Fear.
of fear tactic
All of
combined,
it.
right? So it's impossible, it's almost impossible to see through. So the people who can, some hope is there. Sure.
But that's the conditioning, isn't it? I mean, imagine if someone said to you, right, you've been conditioned to work, go to school, become somebody. You've got to become somebody, and you're not somebody until you get a lot of letters before your name, a degree, a diploma, or all these letters, and become a doctor, a lawyer, or so. You've got to be somebody, otherwise you're not worth anything. And so there's a real divide right there. So you have the people, and if you become somebody, you automatically identify as an intelligent person. Well, actually, you're not. You're just completely and utterly, fully, 100% computerized, indoctrinated, and you can't think outside of that. So then when you become that, you buy a house, you buy a car, you take things out on finance. You know, to be somebody, you have to look the part, don't you? You have all these clothes, these store cards. So you've got, and then you've got all of a sudden you're in fear. You can't lose your job because you've got all this stuff to pay for. You've got family, you've got kids, and then you've got to carry on. You've got the stresses of life, and this corporate system will start tweaking the laws that they created, that you allowed yourself to be brought into. You allowed your fictional self to enter their fake laws, their corporate laws, and they'll start tweaking it and making it harder for you to progress. You know, we'll have a war, you know, it's going to affect people's jobs. We'll have a crisis, a deadly virus. We have to shut jobs down. And that fear of losing your job, losing your money, losing your home, losing this that you've worked so hard to create, to make, that is the worst thing. And that anxiety is what keeps people stuck in that same routine. If you didn't have any of that and you owned nothing, you would actually be happy. Because things, when you start tapping into yourself and creating, working through your natural creation, I don't think you will ever lack the things you need, because you will be able to make those things happen naturally. Be it as a kind gesture to someone, be it, things will come to you naturally. You might say to someone, oh, I can cut your garden for you, and they'll give you a meal. I don't think we will ever be in a situation when we are free where we won't ever be able to survive. Because you will always be able to tap in to making things happen naturally, but the right things, not the wrong things. If that makes sense.
Exactly, it's not going to be easy for the people for the shift, right? If that goes down, but it's possible. Yes, absolutely. The human nature, right, in difficult situations, can try to cope, and, or as you say, the barter, and we could totally. The other thing what they do also, relating to how they keep us so much with this corporation and all this stuff, is they are digitalizing everything right now. Everything is digitalized for the same reason, that nobody can escape, because the paper and all the documents and controlling all that information, unless they don't control the people, because if the people disappear right now from the social media, it's very difficult for the people to get hold of them, right? So they are making sure through social media and through biometrics and facial recognition camera, all the G5, right? So they're making sure that they don't lose their grip on that, because anybody can just go out back in the nature, forget the civilization, forget the social media, live off nature somewhere. You're not gonna know that this paranoia world even exists, right? So they don't even want that to people to do. So they make sure they are having everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's by creating a fake reality. That's the only way they can keep you trapped in your mind, in a fake world, working for fake things that will stop you realizing your true potential and who you really are, and the actually the power you do have inside of you. That's probably why you get some people that are so good at their jobs, and people go, yeah, but that's because they studied really hard. Is it? Or is it because they just have tapped into so much of their own power that they're able to, because they've given their soul to this position, to this study, to this. And that's why we have geniuses. Because if someone really wants to make something happen, they will. But they can't allow us to really have free will. Because imagine what we could make happen as a collective, in unity, as good people. We could move mountains. So they've got to keep us busy. with things we don't need. I've always said as well, I mentioned in my little clip, when your parents always used to say to you, come back down. I mean, I got it a lot because I was always thinking about things, and asking all different questions. And, my mum always said, come back down to reality. You're not living in the real world. Well, actually, they're not living in the real world because they're living on this spinning ball that doesn't exist. And as children, we're more in reality than what our parents are because we haven't been indoctrinated.
Way closer to spirit when we're
Yes.
children, and the system washes that away from us. Most of my best memories are times alone, having that internal conversation with myself that still guide me through life today the best I can. I fail, sure I do, but those memories are the best, and they were the closest to spirit, the clearest, beautiful days that still help me all these years later.
Yeah. And when you're a child, you are so creative. I mean, you want to explore and build and make and
Yeah,
dig.
you're curious about
Curious.
everything in this beautiful world.
Yep.
And
And it is beautiful. I mean, I love, when you see a child look at things for the first time and, they're babies to see a butterfly and it's like, oh,
so
wow.
cute.
Yeah. And we've lost that, and I sit there thinking, why have we lost that? We've lost the magic of this world because we've been kept like slaves. We're tired. We're
Yeah,
working.
exhausted from this system. They get,
Yeah.
think about, like you were saying, think about the potential we would all have if we could dedicate our thoughts to things other than like football statistics and paying taxes. Think of the creativity we could have. Think of the old world where less of this indoctrinated nonsense flying around in outer space system was pushed on us, and we understood the real world better and communicated with it, and it communicated back with us. And they little by little they turn us into the free range tax cattle that we really kind of are right now. We think we're free, but we're not. Look at the globe. Half of the globe is the Pacific Ocean.
Mm.
And you can't go there. It's too dangerous, So
Yeah.
that's a curiosity right there, all by itself. Free travel is,
Absolutely.
you can't just, half of these places you couldn't reach by boat to get to Antarctica. So that's kind of, that we're limited to where we can try to get there from, and they got that all locked up. So free travel is really kind of a myth. You're not allowed to
They,
just go anywhere you want. No.
they want to protect the penguins, don't they? Antarctica.
Right? Yeah.
When have
Penguins,
they ever?
walruses.
Yeah.
And then think about Mount Everest. Tell that story to the 200 dead bodies up there. That's too dangerous. And, that we can't go there, where helicopters can't even fly. The most diesel powerful helicopters really don't want to go up there because the air is too thin. And that's a third of the atmosphere, 5 pounds of pressure up there. Okay. And now they're claiming they got a remote control rover on Mars that just failed after 3 years surprise of success. Like, oh, we didn't think it was going to last 6 weeks. It lasted 3 years. Look at this. It's comical. And like I say, when people cheer this stuff on, they know exactly where they are in their mind and how
But
far
you
they can
don't.
go with.
Yeah. But I urge everybody, honestly, apart from the trolls, because the trolls are there for a purpose, to stop people looking into flat Earth. But if, like me, you felt like an absolute crazy lunatic at even thinking about looking into the flat Earth model, I urge everyone to just do it. Don't hold back. Don't hesitate, because you will never know what you actually wanted to learn until you get into that subject. You wouldn't. They've done such a mind number on us. They've hypnotized us to the point that we didn't know we needed to ask these questions until we got there. And that is why you need to look into flat Earth. And when I say look into it, obviously through people that have done genuine work, like, you know, Vika and Eric DeBay and David Weiss and so on and so forth. And, you know, there's many good names
with it.
But yeah, within the, you know, Hibbler Productions, and there's loads of great people that are genuine. And it's not until you get there that you realize that there is literally a whole new world you didn't know existed, and you're standing on it, and you're like, wow. And you end up like that little baby that's looking at things for the first time again, because you've realized it's like your spirit's been, you know, separated from you, and all of a sudden it literally comes back into you, and you're like, wow. And that's how I felt. So I'm living.
It's a
I'm not
great sense
spinning.
of peace, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
You've
really
connected.
does.
You've
Yeah,
connected with yourself again.
and it does it washes away problems that you didn't even really know you had. It's just the sense of urgency is gone, and all of that hurry rush kind of attitude that is placed upon us that we absorb
Mm,
because we think it's natural. It just goes away, and it's like, oh wow, this
yeah,
place is great again. Yeah, I hate
it
to say
is.
it like that, but it is. It's
It's that you've
fantastic.
come
Yeah.
back into your body. It's like your spirit, you know, has been astral traveling somewhere on this globe that's been created, and you've just literally come back into your body and back to reality. And you've been away from home for all those years. You've been away from yourself, your senses. You've been away from connecting with your own self, and that is so important. And so I urge anyone who is, stop making excuses. There are so many people on my thread who will find an excuse after an excuse, and they won't even look at the videos, but they will make an excuse not to look at the videos. Flip that, because you've got so much amazing things to learn.
Laura, have you seen Flatten the Curve yet?
I think I have. I've seen so many,
You know, you have to see
but
that.
I think I
Vika's
have seen that
first.
one.
That was Vika's first. It's a great, super great video. It was like a breakthrough blockbuster for the community when it had merchant
Wow.
marines, helicopter pilots from the
Yeah,
military, um, submarine construction quality control guys, all explaining how the instruments, navigation, communication,
I have seen it.
weapons.
Yes,
That was the
I
one. See,
loved it.
Vika wasn't in that really, so
It
you
was
know,
brilliant. I do remember now when you said the
excellent.
submarine, the helicopters. Yeah, you know, all that is in our face. All that. Every time a friend
Yeah,
of mine goes on holiday, if they're flying, I'm like, "Can you take a picture for me?" And the fact is as well, because I've been talking about it on. Again, I'm not as advanced as you guys. You know, I do cover lots of different things. I'm not just one specific topic, but because I do cover it, and I decided, I think it was April 21st, I think I've done my first Flat Earth live on Facebook, and I was so scared. I was like, here goes, I'm putting myself out there, let's do this.
great.
And so I tried to explain things the best that I could with what I'd learned at the time. And this lady messaged me, and she said, "You are so right." She said, "I'm going to tell you something." She said, "My husband was a pilot, and me and my son used to really, you know, joke with him, because he used to tell us the earth was flat and we didn't believe him." She said, "Now my son's become a pilot, and he takes pictures for me." And she sent me some of those pictures, and he says 100% it's flat, absolute flat. And so her husband doesn't look so crazy after all, and the whole family know that it's flat. Now, you've got a pilot, you've got, you know, who's up there in the skies telling you, listen, there's no curvature. I can prove it to you. Here's the pictures. There is no curvature. Like, either they've lied to us about the size of Earth, you know,
Right.
but there's a lie somewhere, because there's no
Well,
curvature.
you know, there's no curvature, and there's no effects of living on a ball, meaning that, you know, there's no divergence in buildings. They're all perpendicular. They all measure plumb, level, square, true to the plane. You know, all rain falls perpendicular down, no matter how far away you. Like in Florida, you can see a storm for miles and miles and miles away, and
Yep.
and it's falling straight down. There's no divergence there of anything ever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and speaking
It's
about the pilot Gene and Laura, you remember we had one of our co-hosts before was a helicopter pilot from U.S. Air Force, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Rob, and then we had Brett with us, who was an
Right.
electronic engineer, who was from the documentary. He was in our podcast, right? We had
Yeah.
Josh Silva, who was here with us, right? And he's also a pilot, right? So there are amazing people who are uh, coming up and telling the truth and the flatten the
Eddie,
curve, as we spoke about it.
right?
Eddie, right?
Laura, did you see Eddie's book, 16 Emergency Landings?
no.
Oh, he was in both of the documentaries. He was in the mechanical realm and Flatten the Curve, and he wrote a book. You're probably gonna run to go get that one. It's a
Yeah, I'm
really,
writing
really
it
great
down
book.
now.
Yeah, 16 emergency landings that prove the Earth is flat. Pretty sure
Oh
that's
my
what it is.
God, yes, I think, yeah. And like someone
Yeah.
just said to me about the Coriolis effect, and they said, how do
Ah,
you prove that? And I was like, it doesn't exist. But you know how they try. This is what, when you wake up, and when I say wake up, I don't just mean you wake up to what's going on, but I mean you truly start to see things for what they really are. You realize the mind games that they play on you, even on the TV. And have you guys seen the film The Shooter
no.
with Mark Wahlberg? Right, he's a sniper in the film. It's a great film, but there is a line in that film where he actually says, because he's a sniper, and the guy must have asked him, about when you're a sniper, mate, and he said there are things you need to take into account, and you need to take the air, the distance, and then he mentions the Coriolis effect, and I was like, oh, you had to put that in there because you don't take that into account because there isn't one, because we're not spinning, but they're putting these little brainwashing words in the films everywhere because the flat Earth questioning and is really gaining momentum. Really gaining momentum. I mean, I know that I've personally woke many people up to look into flat Earth. There's people that woke me up, but I know personally I've done it. So it's that domino effect. They're scared. They're scared the world's waking up.
Yeah, they're in panic mode, you know? It's like when two kids are playing a game and one kid lost the game and he starts throwing the pieces all over the place, but the game has to finish out, you know?
Yep.
So that's what's going on right now. These people who are in charge right now, they'd rather destroy the whole place than to see us happy. They don't like happy people. They're miserable souls that, maybe they don't belong here.
Well, they certainly don't. But they've. I think if we had to do it in just very simple terms to keep it simple and for everyone to understand, we've been taken over a whole lot of gangsters. It's like this gangster groups have all connected together. They're the biggest mafia in the world. Is just connected all over the world, and they are trying to run things, but they fight amongst each other. In fact, when you are evil, you've got more fights on your hand because you're not an honest, loyal, trustworthy person. You don't have the integrity.
The internal
To
power struggle.
Yeah, you're always you're never happy. You always want more. That's why psychopaths run the world, because good people don't really care, because we don't have that drive. We don't
We don't
care.
want to
We
run
just
the
want to
world.
No, we just want to live in harmony and go, listen, you just do you, I do me. Let's all be happy. Let's chill.
It's true, and when you go in the street, I don't know about everywhere, but I know in New York, in the United States, it's pretty peaceful out there. A lot of different people from a lot of different places in the world get along absolutely fine. It's the little financial corners that really create a disturbance in people's lives. And,
absolutely.
And
We just sorry.
Well, I was going to say that the show is called Heliopsychosis, and that's the madness of living on a ball that doesn't exist. That's what it is. That's what it causes, and it shows up in so many different ways.
Absolutely. We are generally, like I've always said, let's talk about when we're in a crisis. I don't know about you guys over there, but we've got at the moment open borders. We've got a whole load of immigration coming over, and the people are very upset about it because we realised that we're not being told the truth once again. But so the reality is that the people in the UK are very, very angry, and they may come across as, oh, we don't want to help anybody else. Well, that's not true, because when we're in a crisis, generally, when someone needs help, we natural good people, our instinct is to help. We all just generally come together and support each other, even if we've had disagreements or
100%.
Yeah, and if there was a true need to take people in, say there was a crisis, come over. I mean, you would get a community bringing out food, clothes, shelter.
Sure.
We would all
Earthquake or
come
something.
together. That's it. We would all come together and
Yes.
help each other. In genuine cases, that's natural.
All right.
That's
Sorry to cut you. Relating to what you're saying, we also was commenting before about the religion. What's your take on religion, Lara?
Oh God, I don't want to upset people.
No, whatever you want. You want to share if you don't.
So I believe that we've been lied to about absolutely everything, and that's including religion and scriptures and things like that. I don't, I try to. This is a very difficult subject. This is a bit like the vegan carnivore subject. It's very conflicting. And hopefully we won't talk about that either. But religion is one of those things that I believe was created to separate us. Different religions creates more divide. Scriptures, I do feel they have hidden meanings, but hidden. I don't think they're meant to be taken literal. Like when you try and read the Bible. This is me, by the way. This is just my opinion from what I've learned. There's so much conflicting stories in the Bible that you can't take it literally. And so I do believe the powers that be have tried to hide the truth from us, and they've done it in such a way where they've amended the books, taken things out from the books, hidden. They're not going to want you to know the truth. They're going to make it hard for you to find it, and only the ones that have the eyes to see and the mind to think are going to be able to decipher the truth. And I think that's what the scriptures are. There are a number of different things, but they are not a story to be taken literally. And you have to really put the pieces together. So I have different ideas of what God could be, what Jesus could be, what the Bible is. Religion to me is man-made. And if we didn't have any, I mean, for instance, I've been told, because I find reading the Bible like it's got an energy block. There's no energy flowing for me. I think I find things are missing from it. And I've been told, well, you don't have the spirit within you. And so straight away you feel like, well, if I'm God's child, and why would he punish me for not being able to read something? I've been told by religious fanatics that I'm going to be condemned because I can't read the Bible. And so if you find someone that's a creation of God, but they can't read, why would they be condemned if we're all God's children? So there's a lot of conflicting feelings for me in religion. And I've yet to discover the truth behind it, but I'm sure there is a lot of truth, but I believe it's hidden in the books. And we've got, everything's been inverted, everything's been twisted. If the earth, if they can lie to us about the very plane we live on, where we're existing, why would they not lie to us about everything else? We know that there was book burning going on, you know, good few years ago, in 1940s, there were book burning. We know they don't want us to really know the truth. So they're going to do everything to hide it from us. That's why don't fully believe or follow. And I'm a believer that all the answers that you seek are within you, not without. And the more we ask out, the less we are connecting within. And we are everything we need. And together, as a collective, we will be able to discover from each other the answers we need, because they're all inside us. But the more we're busy, again, working or looking at books, thinking that they're going to guide us, the less we are connecting with what the true answers we could find. So that's
Exactly,
kind of
because
my take.
the religion, the organized religion have succeeded in making people believe like to find salvation anywhere except within. And the real message of all the spirituality more than religion, because it started from spirituality and became into an organized religion, right? So they're making sure that the people don't get that salvation, right? Because they are going to spend all their life, all their resources, all their energy outside. As you say, we are not trying to put down any religion, but the true message is only one thing, is to find the Christ within, right? And that's why there's so much of confusion. That's why people are very religious, even they are going to the church or wherever they are going, but they aren't really finding the salvation, because it's so much of manipulation, in this institutionalized religion centers, right? Because it's just one
fear.
more body. Yeah, it's just one more body of control that is like feeding, like keeping everybody also in their grip. Yeah, apart from the political, one of the biggest institutions after the financial are these people. They aren't paying any taxes. They are getting all their riches, right? And just look for it's gonna come out from somewhere to save you. Yeah, go ahead.
It's that's exactly what I think. It's another control mechanism. It's a financially gaining mechanism for them. Again, I'm not saying that every, excuse me, I'm not saying that everybody in a church is bad, but a church is still a business. The Vatican is a business. Everything is a business. So you've got to look at why is religion being made into a business? If it's something that's been, churches are meant to be a place of worship, sanctuary, they're a holy place, but yet it's been everything made into a corporation, a business of some sort. It falls under different brackets, but I can tell you, I know accountants that have done the books for churches, and the churches are just as bad as the rest of them. They're money laundering, tax evading, and a whole load more. I'm originally from Sicily. And they do this all in the name of God. So again, I'm not saying that whoever God is to you, I do believe we have a creator. So I've yet to find my true God, if you like, but that doesn't make me a bad person, a bad woman, shall I say, because I'm constantly seeking asking questions. I mean, isn't it in the Bible, ask and you shall receive? Well, I'm constantly asking questions because I want to find the truth. But everything has been done in the name of religion, in the name of God, in the name of Jesus. And through that, to me, it feels that we have a cult that they can get away with doing things. And the mafia was one of them. And, you know, they used to kill and then go and repent, and then you're forgiven. It's fine. You know, that's not how this works. When I went back a few years, 2017, I was in Sicily seeing my family. And we went to the highest point, right at the top of the mountain in the village. That's where the priest's massive house was. And, you know, a little way across the other side was where the nunnery was. And they've been there for absolute years. You know, Sicily's very old. And a few years back, they had to dig the road between the church, the priesthood house and the nuns. And they found tunnels going from one end to the other. And in those tunnels, they were bones, baby bones. And that's because they were mixing together. The nuns were getting pregnant and they couldn't keep the children. And all this is in the name of religion. Now, we know that they are
that
doing
goes really dark stuff. That part we know, like it's crazy stuff.
absolutely.
And
So,
yeah, even the royals and everything included, they all
absolutely.
are doing some crazy crap, you know. And
But they will get hidden because it was, you know, you don't want to say anything bad about the priest, you know, because he's a man of God, he's a holy man. So people are very careful to say anything bad because they worry that you will be punished.
yeah,
And
but
so they
also
can get away.
Yeah, also
Yep.
in the local, Lara, in local, the churches, how they dispasture and they're manipulating the masses and how much they're giving their resources and their money and everything.
Absolutely.
And still the people cannot see through it. They are the ones who are getting riches and the rest are not even reaching the end of the month, right? And all the thing that they have to pay. But they make sure that even if they're eating less, they're going to give something and it's going to help. You know, you really want to
Yes.
help people who are in need, go and do some real social work, you know, go and help.
Yes.
That's real helping. You know, just paying to already rich institution is not. You might feel like you're helping and you feel like you are doing something for the world. Like, do it around you, do it in your community, there where it starts, you know. See
Absolutely.
around who are the people,
Absolutely.
what you could do and change, right?
You can get
So,
arrested for
yeah.
helping people over here, though.
Really?
And so, yeah, you're not allowed to feed people. You need licenses and everything. They'll ticket you every time. You're not just
That is
allowed
just
to do.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. They don't want you
That's
helping the homeless.
because it's not a profit for them, is it? If you help someone, it's losing profit for these people.
Could you
But
imagine that, though? You can't feed homeless people, but they let McDonald's run rampant in this country with the garbage
yeah, I
that's in
mean,
that.
yeah, and do you remember that? I don't know. You obviously probably had the same thing. I used to be crazy about the gym, and when the lockdowns happened, they shut the gyms for your
Right.
health, for your
Yeah.
health. But they left McDonald's open or the takeaways open for your health.
Yeah, in the Home
That's
Depot.
yeah, you know. So
Yep.
it is absolutely it's crazy. But that's my stand on religion. Is it's been infiltrated. It's been corporatized, if you like. It's for money and it's for control. And the true answer is,
Division.
yeah, it's division, absolutely, because everybody thinks their God is the right God. Everybody thinks
Laura, that's a nice point, Lara. I think in the flat earth community, that's the biggest one of the problems because everybody want to sell Christianity, Bible, and if you don't believe in Jesus, you are not a flat earther. Flat earthers have everything to do with Bible and nothing else, and it's creating so much division in the community. Right? The people need to wake up and see that there are so many different races living on this realm, and everybody have the same cosmology, right? And as I always say, it helps even the Bible people who are trying to wake people up through the Bible. The other cosmology supports also the Bible, so they should see it in that way, and it's going to be more helpful, right, in a religion wise. Because once the situation, once the topic become too religious, it just puts so limit, you know. Like every time we are trying to do some science or some research investigation, and you are bringing in religion to show that it proves, and this it just limits everything. Okay,
That's
okay,
right.
the all the cosmologies surely speaks about stationary flat realm, right, in their own ways, right, but it can't be always the same, right? uh, that's what the people need to understand, because it limits
Mm.
a lot in the research, in the investigation, in connecting the dots, or understanding the big picture, right? That's why there are people who have passed through this podcast as guests, as panelists, as different ways, right? But this is the thing: too much of religion, especially with flat earth researchers, and we respect everybody's belief and this, but there is a limit to something, because not everything what you think or see is like that, right? And I
Mm.
see a lot of people, the majority, especially in the flat earth, it's like this. It's just my view, my opinion, right?
No, but as I said in the beginning, I agree. As I said, I wanted to make it clear that I didn't stumble on flat Earth religion. It wasn't what some people say. Oh, it's in the Bible. It's in, but that's not what brought me to discovering that we live on a non-rotating level plane. And I've always, like I said, I don't know what's above, below, or beyond because I can't go there. But I can only work with what I see and what I feel and what's been presented to me, things that I didn't know that I needed to look at. But that wasn't through religion. And the one thing I have learned is that there's a creator, whoever that is. I don't know how we got here. I don't know. We couldn't have come from Adam and Eve because that would be incest. You can't create a whole population of different races through Adam and Eve. So you can't take the book literally, unless sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Apparently, I'm not quite sure how it works, but I didn't stumble upon this through religion, and I believe that we need to look past the book, because for me, even though I've come to realize that I'm not on a spinning ball, I also know that there's a lot more that I still don't know about where we live, and I'm open to lots more, evidence or learning or links to help me decipher where we are, why we're here, what our purpose is, who are we, who created us, and but I'm not gonna find it in the Bible. Not reading it literally anyway.
Right, exactly. You might be able to interpret something that helps you figure it out.
Yeah.
But it would be your interpretation of it that gets you there. So I
Yeah.
agree. 100%. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And talking about interpretation, that's exactly the same thing with the Bible, that I find it's objective. I can read it one way, you can read it another way.
Right.
Then straight away we are going to have debates
About the meaning.
about the meaning. We're going to start having disagreements.
Right.
I don't know if you guys know who David Wynn Miller is. Have you heard of David Wynn Miller?
Not off the top of my head.
So he was the guy that created syntax grammar. So basically he realized he coded every letter to put it in a certain number order, to always to make mathematical sense. And he said no war was ever started by numbers, because you can't change numbers. 2 and 2 will always end up to 4. That's it. Everybody knows that. But words can be interpreted in 2 different meanings. And wars and arguments are created by words. And the Bible is the same. It's open to different interpretations. So therefore, we have an argument straight away. And the only time we don't have an argument is if we all go to church together and listen to one preacher,
Right.
and we all agree on this savior, this preacher. But then you could go to a different church, and they will talk about the Bible in a different way. That you start arguing. That's it. This is the biggest divide and conquer is religion, in my opinion.
It's a scary arena to really feel like I got my feet concrete in any of them, but I like them all. I think I've learned beautiful things from lots of the different scriptures. They are beautiful,
Yes,
but
yes,
I agree they've been touched. So, and it's all from within. That's what these are the things they're not teaching us.
yeah.
We're all looking externally for the answers in science. Oh, they give you concrete answers. Here it is. Boom.
But
And
it's
don't
all
worry.
internal.
Yeah, right. It is from your childhood. God, the creator, whatever you want to call it. He doesn't want us to grow up and be adults. We're supposed to be children here. We are children. We're all brothers and sisters. And yeah, I love the unity in the community here. It's a lot of really, really cool people who I wish was running this world, like you guys right here. You know, people in the chat, not
Mm,
ruling the world, but something happens, we need some advice, we go to someone. That's about the start and end of it. We're here to teach each other, help each other on this road. I think of this whole life we get could be, something like a day for your soul, a day in kindergarten for your soul. Even there's so many pages and depths, and you know I think that understanding the true creation and creator, we can't do that here. We just can't do that here. That would be, to analogy of like plugging your phone into a nuclear power plant.
yeah.
That's something like that. It's just too much. We can't handle it here. But the
Do you
journey
think we're
is
here for a purpose? Do you think we're
um
here for a purpose?
I think life, if you give it purpose, then yeah. But I don't think you have to. If you want to just go through life and be quiet, and then that's your purpose, kind of. What purpose is, what I think kind of objective also, you know what I mean?
Yep,
I
yep,
feel I feel drives that I can't stop, like I say a lot, in the winters. I'm throughout my life, I don't call myself an artist, but I like to dabble with the elements, and play with
yep.
games with what we have. So how about that? And a lot of my stuff is dated in the wintertime, December, January, February, just, all those months through the years. Some of it's not dated, but a lot of the ones that are in the winter. And it's a great time to kind of hibernate and go within yourself and bring out that art. I just learned a mudra for a 3-step mudra for accepting and presenting your what your gifts or whatever it is that, I don't know what to call it, because I like to play with, music and art and stuff like that, but I'm none of that. I'm not an artist. I'm not a musician, not a drummer. So
But you are, because you're
what?
creating your own creation of it. Just you are an artist because you are creating something. You're a musician because you're creating sound. You're creating music.
Yeah, it comes. That stuff comes from somewhere else. It's internal, and it's the ether,
Yeah.
and it's the connection of all the stars and us, that the meridians that ride in our body are all, everything's connected, and we're all part of the wheels, guys. And it's great to be here with all of you guys in the chat. Hi, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as I am. This is fantastic.
But you see,
Oh yeah,
I think we,
what I wanted to add about the purpose is, like, we all have a purpose, right? Maybe
yeah,
some people get conscious about it and some people don't, but the real purpose everybody here experiencing this is to grow, right? To reach the better version of ourselves. That's the highest purpose,
Right.
whatever we are doing in our life and whatever we experience, right? And I think one of the thing what really make us evolve as a per our personal consciousness and collective is to find that purpose, right? That in this whole thing that we are born with, right? Finding that is equally like finding who you are, why you are
Mm,
here. Many questions come in when you find that purpose, right? Might be difficult, might be sometime off the track, sometimes you feel that's the purpose, but things evolve, life evolves and things come. So, and he said maybe that's the one, right? But it's all a collection of all those purposes together to be the best of us, right, in this lifetime.
That's
yeah.
true.
What if our purpose was to be the generation that's going to change things going forward? Because we are the ones that need to make people aware, like for whatever that's happening at the moment. You the flat Earth, the lockdowns, or everything that we probably can't name as such. But I'll give you an example. 4 years ago, I wouldn't even dream of doing a live. I didn't even know what a Facebook Live was. I used to tell my son, who used to do podcasts, that you're wasting your life doing these podcasts. What are you doing? He was up all night, and I'm going to be a YouTuber. I was like, no, you're crazy. You need to get out there and get a job and this, that, and the other. So to me, doing a Facebook Live, I didn't know what it was. And then lockdown happens, and then I wake up, and all of a sudden, without knowing, not my mind, it wasn't my mind that said, right, you're going to set a plan, you're going to become this, you're going to start doing lives. No, my passion, my love of humanity made me do this. And I realized maybe that's, I decided to start sharing stuff on Facebook, doing lives, because I felt like I needed to speak. People needed to hear what I had to say, what I learned, what I knew, and I needed to share my journey, because maybe I could help other people. They could also help me. And I thought, nobody told me to do this. I didn't even think I had it in me. So, it's a big thing to put your face out to the world and to receive not just good, but bad too, because you get attacked for speaking the truth. So when you think, what is your purpose? I think we're all here for different things that eventually come together. And I believe that we are like a generation which is here to help pave the way for a better tomorrow for the people we leave behind. That's my sort of interpretation of my
Oh yeah.
purpose anyway.
And you also followed, right, your instinct, right, that to do that
Mm,
and to flow with what you felt, right? Otherwise you wouldn't have
yeah.
reached here, right? For example, our podcast in itself, how we started, right? The first podcast, and now we are almost 2 years doing podcasts, right? We know how we grow, right, from the first podcast to
Yeah.
now, because we lead, like we went through our instinct and say, yeah, we should do that, and with time you find it, you see it, right, Gene, brother? How is the
Vika,
difference from 2 years to now?
oh, it's great. It's tremendous if you go back and listen. But Vika's got amazing instinct. I got some good instinct too. We run like that with Scorpios, so we bounce really
Oh,
well
no
together.
way. So am
Yeah.
I.
Cool. When's your birthday?
25th of
I'm the
October.
29th.
Oh, wow.
Vika,
Yeah.
you're the 6th, right?
November. Yeah.
The 6th, yeah. That's great.
No,
So
you're muted. Yeah.
So
I said 3 Scorpios here in the
Yeah.
That's great.
Sting. Yeah,
Do
no.
you follow your instinct, and do you know that if when you notice when you do, you're better off, let's say, and when you don't, you kind of maybe made a mistake? Do you run like a Scorpio like that? Because we're kind of
Yeah, well, I
intuitive.
think I do, because that's why I'm here now. I followed my instincts, which said you need to speak up, you need to get out there, you need to do this, you need to talk to people, you need to do outreach, you need to. So yeah, I follow my gut instinct, which told me no, we need to do something, and I believe that many of us obviously felt the same, and the difference is, and I remember saying this. You see, the truther community, I like to call it, the genuine truther community, done everything and gave their everything to bring the truth out for no money and for the love of humanity, for the love of justice. Whereas the people that are doing the bad to us are doing it for money, for profit, for control. Now, for power and control. But if someone wasn't paying them, they wouldn't be doing it. Whereas nobody's paid us to start this, to get it out there. And many of us have spent the last 4 years going out on the streets, leafleting, podcasting for nothing, connecting for nothing, just for the love of it. Now imagine how powerful that is, that energy. You really think about that. And love is one of the most powerful energies you can put out there. So we didn't do it for the money, and we didn't do it for the control. We done it for the love for humanity. That is where true power lies, and that is where I came from. My instinct said, you need to do this, because going to a park and watching children play, I felt like I needed to do something. I needed to speak up and make their parents aware of what they need to know, for the safety of their children, their future, like many thousands other. So the love will, this is why I think we are here to create a better tomorrow, to bring the balance back, because at the moment the balance has tipped the wrong way in this realm, in this life. And so we're here to bring it back to some kind of normality. And the only way we're going to do this is through love.
Love
That's what I
always
think.
wins.
Love does.
It does.
Exactly. That's why I say that the people have something to compare with what we all are doing in the future. At least they don't have all the indoctrination to look through that is feeded. But there's a lot of investigation and truth research by many people that the people can look into, right? There's something for the comparison. Yeah, go ahead, Jean, brother. You wanted to add something? Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead, Uwe.
No, nobody paid us, did they? Nobody paid us for our time, for our research, for our outreach. It was all done by the love of it, the love of not so much even the fear. Some of it was driven by fear, because we realised we've been done wrong. But, you can be in fear and do nothing, or you can let the love shine and do something. And that's, I think, what a lot of us did.
Right. You mentioned in the rabbit holes and the darkness, and there is, they appear to be dark, but I think there's more light in the rabbit holes than the apparent darkness. Because if you don't go down them, you're going to stay in the dark. We're in the dark.
Yeah.
So.
It was quite painful waking up.
Aww.
Because what happens is that, for me, it was during the lockdowns. And I've said this before, that most people, it was, well, you have all that time. And so with all that time, you end up falling down many different rabbit holes. And
Sure.
So it's information overload. Well, most people throughout their life, they know something wasn't right. They've read a book, they've seen this, and they started piecing things together, but they've still got to work and have a family, and they just get the weekends or the evening reading, but they've still got to do things during the day. Whereas during lockdown, we had all the time in the world. So it was information overload.
Right.
And that was painful, because everything came to you at once. You didn't just fall down one. You then had the time every day.
Yeah,
So I
right.
went from being really active to being stuck indoors, and I was like, I need info. I became addicted. So it was quite painful. But you're right, it has to be done. You come out the other side, and you're glad that you're awake. I mean, I'm glad I had that experience, as painful as it was. I think I spent 3 days crying solid. It's like, we're going to die. That's it. My life's over. They're going to kill us all and whatever.
Sure.
But, you know, then you kind of,
right?
emotions overdrive, and then eventually you start to stabilize. And I genuinely thought we were going to be, I genuinely thought I wasn't going to be here in 2021. So I decided, well, you know what? If 2020 is my last year here, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy this summer. So I bought myself a paddleboard, and I went paddleboarding locally, and I had the best summer of my life. It was fantastic. The sky was beautiful. It was everything was grounded. There was nothing flying, and the skies were clear, and the sun was out, and it was just fantastic. And I'm still here, and the fear is gone, and I've learned so much more. And I think, you know, it's been an amazing journey, and I've lived 3 or 4 years. What I've experienced in these 4 years, it would take, I've lived like 10 years in 4. It's been amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I love it.
Oh yeah, it does. It does changes the life, you know, once you realize the true cosmology, right? It's so many things just automatically connects the dot, right? It helps to find us the north. It helps us to find us the way, right? Even if you
Yeah.
think about it or not, because you are applying things in your day-to-day life, the way you think, the way you see, the way you think, do things, you know, the way you take the decisions, right? And everything, whatever is coming ahead, there's a change in the dynamics of living life, right? There's something, the frequency changes, right? Once you realize.
Absolutely. And I realized as well that the last 3 years I've been able to, I mean, I don't know if it's manifesting, you know, some people call it manifesting, but, you know, synchronicity has been really, really strong. Manifestation's been really, really strong. The energy in the last 3 years has been so strong that there's no such thing for me as coincidence anymore, because it's happened so many times that it's no longer coincidence. And I've experienced this in my life now and then, but in the last 3 years, it's been so often. You know, I could be thinking, you know, I'd really like to have to speak to David Wace. I'd love to have a live with him. And then next thing I know, he contacts me. Right. Wow. You know, that sort of thing. People I never thought I'd be able to speak to. And I end up speaking to these guys, and I might think I really would love to meet so-and-so. And next thing I'm at an event and they're there. And I'm like, do you know, I was just thinking the other week, I really wanted to meet you. So this is happening so much for me that it's no longer coincidence.
That is part of what they take away from us.
Yeah.
And it adds to the confusion, because they teach us we have 5 senses, right? Or is it 6 even? But whatever. We have so many more that we could be learning about. And that's great. You're a Scorpio. You tap into that naturally. And that,
It's been fantastic.
Right? When you talk to the universe talks back to you. That's kind of how I look at stuff like that. And
it's just one of those things that you can't explain, but you would like an explanation, and you don't know how you've done it, but somehow it happens.
Right.
Organic. Organic technology, right, Gene?
Yeah, right. Maybe. Could be high technology, though. Yeah. Oh. No, it's the internal conversation that when you recognize it kind of likes that, and it talks more to you, and you talk back to it, and that conversation just gets better and better. And you teach it to yourself, I think.
Mm.
Journey, you know, I don't know if that's really something can be written in one way. Maybe
But
one
what
way.
if it's but
Mhm.
what if it's energy? What if it's you see? What if it's the ability to tap into the thought and the heart and the gut at the same
Mhm.
time, and you know, to be completely aligned? That it's very
Right.
hard for people to do that because normally we're thinking, you know, you might be doing something and thinking of something else, but you're not completely aligned. But I think, like I say, when you realize you live on a non-rotating level plane, it's like you've come back into yourself. It's like you've come back to reality. You've come back into your spirit's come back into your body, sort of
Right.
thing. But what if now we are just so passionate and caring and loving about things that we're completely aligning our senses, our gut, our heart, our mind, and so when we are making these expressions of thoughts, we're doing it aligned. So therefore, maybe we're in tune to being able to manifest these things. Just a thought.
No,
Yeah,
definitely. It's the
it's just showing.
vibration.
Go ahead, G.
No, it's your vibration of where you're at. Like if you vibrate a certain way, you can see certain things. That's really all there is to it. If you have three tuning forks, two are the same and one is different, and you ring one of the two, and you can ring the other one without even touching it, and meanwhile the other one will not react. So yeah, it's about lining up your vibration to accept and understand more of the vibrational world we live in, the electric world that is full of all this. We live in ether and it's all full of all this information. It's a matter of being able to understand it within and interpret it
Mm.
like you know, like you say, we would love to be able to learn how to manifest that will, and I think that's part of the greatness of this world that they have taken away from us, that we could have a lot more of that, you know, communication
Well,
through
Exactly.
dreams
yeah.
and or you know, all kinds of different things that we probably couldn't even imagine. Like we can't imagine how they built half the buildings around the world, and that's just like to scrape the surface of the abilities that we just don't have anymore, and they were
Mm.
deliberately taken away. It's not that we gave them up or didn't like them or didn't want them. It's all sleight of hand, magic show going on.
Oh yeah, as you say, brother, like the ether, right? We do connect to the ether. That's why it's the possibility that, as Lara was saying, right? You thought of something to do something, and that's happening because you are connected to the ether. That's our one of the possibility of us humans. Like, you know, I call it that organic technology, right? So what else
Mm.
we could do as human being when we are aligned? Is it not possible to connect with the divine if we could connect to the ether, right? It's it's just the state of the being, right? We are. That's why it just starts happening around us.
It's true. You know, when you hear the someone, you know, internally, when the universe is nudging you to do something and you don't pay attention, you're gonna get pushed. So you're gonna, you know, if you're here to learn something, you're gonna learn it no matter what. If you take the long road, the hard road, the short road, whatever it is.
Mm.
So,
Well, I
so yeah,
think
I
the
guess
world is alive.
you mean the ground, like, and the
No,
air, and
everything, everything. Yeah,
everything,
it's alive. I
everything
was
is the creator.
yeah, yeah.
Everything is the creator. When I consciously think of that, it's just changes things for you. And the more I think of it, you just start to then just realize it. It's fun. It's fun to think that the air you breathe is literally the creator.
Well, what about when I mean, what do you think about when you see lightning? When you see a bolt of lightning, what do you think about? What does it remind you of?
A flash of a thought, because those instincts, those, you know, like you say, oh, I wish I could run into David Weiss. it's a flash of a thought, and those instincts come to me, at least in that way. It's those little
See,
flashes.
when I see a bolt of lightning, like when it's thunder and lightning, and I see a bolt of lightning, it reminds me of a nerve, like a nerve in our body, very much shaped like a nerve.
Right.
And it makes me think, is this world so alive that everything's connected, and these nerves are electrical points? It reminds me, and you see it everywhere, and it's like all these different nerves. That's what it
Absolutely
reminds me
like
of.
that. Yes.
Mm.
The meridians,
And
that's how they do acupuncture, because they run those electrical
yeah,
meridians. That's
and
exactly
so,
what it's like. Wow, that's great.
and I find it fascinating. And I've often looked at pictures of people taken pictures of lightning, and I look there and I think, look, it's exactly like different nerves. And so that means to me that we're all part of this living body, living organism of some sort, and we are part of that nerve. We are part of that existence. I find it
Yeah,
absolutely fascinating.
we or at least I put it out as like it's a mechanism, right? And we are all part of that mechanism, right? It's a everything, right? For us, from the animals, insects, the tree, the vegetation, the stars, everything is just part of that mechanism and depends on each other for this whole thing to function as a whole, right? The consciousness of this earth together, right? And every bit, every gear, every tooth is important in that thing
Yes,
to function.
absolutely. And it's all connected, and we're all, which is why I think we manifest things. We can tap into things and make things happen.
Exactly. And
Because to me,
the tree you have behind also shows the same nerves, right? Looks like nerves.
yeah.
The river beds, the river, how they run looks like nerves too, right? Yep, absolutely.
I mean, have you seen the film? I do like to refer to films because actually I think there's more facts in films than what there is in documentaries. Avatar, the Tree of Life in Avatar.
There you go, Vika.
That's my favorite movie, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think it's fantastic, right? But it's the Tree of Life, and it's just a Tree of Souls. And you connect to that tree, and I think it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's representing the
And
North Pole. Yeah, and it looks like the vortex, right? The toroidal field looks like a tree of life too, right? It
yeah,
resonates with
it's
the reality.
absolutely. So I think right now we are probably in one of the greatest times to be alive, even though it's the most frightening, it's the most challenging, most uncertain, but it's equally the greatest time to be alive. And one thing I always learned as I was growing up, teenage, adult life, change happened when you least expected it, and nobody's prepared for change. Nobody likes change because we're actually creatures of habits, and we go through that change in our lives. I'm sure everybody here has been presented with situations where you've had to change without choice. You've had to move, you've had to whatever situation, and you think, oh, but once you get over the other side, you're actually glad it happened. But if the circumstances didn't come your way, you would never have changed that, whatever the situation is. And I think this is where we're at now. Mother Nature needs to change. And so whatever's happening is because we're creating it, and we need that change. And I believe on the other side is I don't know if we're going to get to the other side in this lifetime by the time the change happens, but I think we are all part of creating that future change, and it's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, we all are doing to get the big picture so that everybody can see that big picture, right? It's not just a single thing or few people can do it, right? It's required, the focus and the energy of the whole realm is required for this to happen, this to manifest, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I hope,
It is.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is. It's a place to discover that we're magical beings, and this is a wonderful place to be in. It is a special time, and it's great to be here doing this with you guys, trying to help the world from enslavement, and to give them their own internal freedom that they don't even know they had. It's like pulling the curtain off the Wizard of Oz for them, but you can't shake people to wake them. And some people just want to be asleep too, and that's where they belong, and that's their part, and that's cool too. That's what I meant, like, by purpose before, if you
Mm.
want, because I feel this is my purpose. Like, and I started out as a big space globe fan, and evolution was awesome. I love talking to people about that. Hey, did you hear what NASA did this week? Oh wow, check it out. Wow, blah blah. And so, I feel lucky that I had all that understanding, and when I jumped in, it was quick for me. And
Wow. That must have been
yeah,
quite a disappointment in one way, because all that fantasy has been removed of
no,
all these different planets and
I was okay. I was like, that's all just fake. It's gone. It never existed.
wow.
Like, I was like, oh, now I got to go talk to people about this. Took me 2 years before I said anything. And I was afraid. And then all of a sudden, by accident, I posted something from the Flat Earth group. I did the same thing though in secret. I joined all these pages, and I'm like, oh my God, look at this. And I was hinting towards things, I'm like, hey, look at the moon. Why does it look like this? Blah, blah, blah. Kind of. And then accidentally I posted a flat earth thing, and I'm like, oh, well, here we go. And
And
it's
some
been,
people still don't get it. I'm even
nah.
got to the stage, if I go to the beach, I'm writing it on the sand, research flat earth, or I've
Yeah,
really, yeah, my
that's
favourite
great.
subject. Yeah, I got to the point where I had a pen and I was writing it on the walls, hoping nobody saw me for vandalism, but yeah,
Graffiti.
that one. I was thinking, and the pen kept running out, and I was thinking, this isn't working, but I really need to get the message out there.
Funny.
Oh yeah, because we are
And
compassionate, because we want the people to wake up, even if it's we know them, we don't know them, even if one fraction of a second of the word flat, or if you can show the truth, and if their life can change, right? That's what we believe we can, because we see our life changes we have right after that. So we want to pass that, and we don't want to keep it with us. So another thing, we are almost going to be wrapping up soon. So one question I also had about, what is your views on astrology and esoteric?
so I done 3 podcasts, which I have another one planned with a guy called Micah Dank. They're on my YouTube channel, which is under Laura Nina again. And that was really, really interesting, because he manages to prove the Bible can be used as a astrological esoteric teachings, and he connects the Bible with the fact that we are in an astrological clock, like the skies, the stars, the moon, everything is is connected as like an almanac for the farmers, but we don't use it anymore. We don't look up anymore, and that was really, really interesting. I also done a few lives with a lady called Ola, and she's really, really great at the astrology and things like that. And I think it's amazing when you talk to different people and they get all this information together. And it's there is an importance somewhere of the day you were born, you know, the time, the place. And some people are able to tell you your things about you that you don't know based on that date, time, place, birth sign, and it all has some kind of a code meaning. And I find it fascinating. I've not studied it myself, but I think there is a lot of truth in it. Obviously, not the stuff you read in a paper, but it's all some kind of coding. And yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy discussing things like this. I enjoy learning. I enjoy different people's takes on things. Because the truth is, I think the more we know, the less we know. We don't really know what the complete truth is. So for me, we have to keep asking and, you know, researching and looking into things.
Oh yeah, astrology and astronomy, yeah, for sure, it can guide us if we want to, right?
Yeah.
They are there for a reason, right? They work as markers, you know, the angles that they are on with us, with our numbers and our days could be harmonic or not that harmonic, or more successful or no. Yeah, I think it's just a science, you know, nothing magic there about astrology. And it helps us also with the flat earth and
Mm.
geocentric stationary earth for proving, right, to the people. So awesome, awesome. Laura, was great to have you. For sure, we could go many different places and continue. And for definitely, we're gonna do more. Yeah, you are always welcome whenever you wanna have things to say and join or add in. Yeah, and yeah, we will be having our last thoughts for tonight. Uh, and who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'd like to say thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are the best. You're warriors, and keep going strong, guys. And thank you so much for being here and hanging out, spending your time with us. And Laura, what a great conversation. You're amazing. I love almost everything you said. I couldn't think of anything I didn't love. It was great to have you here. You know, I'm like, wow. So we had a lot in common too, and Scorpio thing was great. It
I
definitely
know,
felt
right?
that. Yeah, very
Thank you.
cool. Yeah, so yeah, definitely welcome back. Anytime you like, and we could pick up where we left off, or we could start somewhere new. You know. Thank you so much for being here with us. It was
No, it was
really
great.
great.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
congratulations on the success of what you put out. That's really nice that you did that with your instinct, and look what
Mm.
happened. And here you are with all that great information. You said earlier that you might not consider yourself at the level we're at, but I don't know. Maybe you consider reconsidering that, because I'm not sure if I agree with that actually. So. No, what a fantastic conversation, and thank you so much for hanging out with us. It
Thank
was
you.
great to
Thank you.
have
It's
you.
been amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother Gene. Well said. But we are all on the same level, right? You know, we might wanna think we are higher or lower, but the Earth is flat. The Earth is level, so we are on the level, brother. Thanks, brother, for being here. Awesome. Yep. And yep, Laura, your last thoughts?
Oh, I've not prepared anything. I didn't know we were doing last thoughts.
No,
Right. Okay. So
whatever.
my last thought is,
Your
um,
closing statement, however you wanna
yeah,
add you where people can
um,
find you.
yeah. I mean, I've got Facebook platform. It's all under Laura Nina. Telegram, Laura Nina and Friends, and YouTube, Laura Nina. And actually, I think I've got Rumble account, Laura Nina. It's all under the same name. I thought I'd keep it simple. Thank you, Vika, for inviting me on. I'm truly amazed at how much that video reached so many people, and I'm really glad it did, because it was powerful, the feeling inside me, and I needed to share it. And ultimately, people do need to know that they are not just a number, they are not a legal fiction, and they are not living in a fake world. And the sooner you come back to reality, and know who you truly are and your true potential, the more the magic will really begin to take place, because we are the creators of our existence. We've been given the tools, and now we need to start creating again a more beautiful world with love. So thank you.
Absolutely, that beautiful message. Yeah, the heart does resonate. That's why it's reached so far, Laura. Yep. Well, keep doing what you do. Yeah, people, everyone also where to find Laura. And thank you for being here, Laura. And for sure, we will be seeing us more also. We have some things planned, right? And yeah, I want to thank you, everybody in the chat. There are a lot of new faces here too in the chat. If you're here first time, sure do subscribe, and look out for more episode of Heliopsychosis podcast, because we're going to be having amazing guests and amazing topic, and we're going to be digging in deeper like always, and revisiting, because we are processing, right? So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks, Jean. Thanks, Laura. And make sure you
Thank
guys check
you.
us out on the next episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host Vikas Rajiv signing out, guys. See you soon next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.